Hello. Have you ever wanted to use a mob like a skeleton for a shop, something like a blacksmith, but they just keep on shooting at you because they have a very nasty attitude problem? Well, no more. We're going to give them a mobotomy. So, in order to do this, we're going to make a little platform here with a slab that they're going to sit on later, and a block higher than that to put our rail on. Then we're going to put down the skeleton, and then a minecart, and push them together. Then we can remove the rail and push the skeleton forward. Then we're going to put trapdoors where we can. You might need to push the skeleton back a little bit because this hitbox extends downwards. Then we're going to go ahead and push them first deep and then to the side if we can to make sure the minecart is sideways. This is not very important, but it is nice for a couple of reasons I will explain later. Not my ideal position, this one, but this will do. So, they will still shoot at you in this state, obviously. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a piston up here with a lever. It can be any kind of piston. I'm just using sticky ones for demonstration purposes. Then you are going to take something like a glass pane or an iron bar or any block, really, and you are going to put that under that piston. And then you have made an attitude adjustinator. So, if you notice, they still want to shoot me. Flick the lever, and those anger issues are all gone. Now he's just a friendly little guy. And you can destroy the piston if you want. There's no problem there. The way that this works is this red line that you can see is their eye level, or I believe it is. And they use that and the center of their hitbox in order to cast a ray, so essentially send like a line out to see if they can see you. If that hits a block that has a shape, so something like a glass pane rather, counts for that, then that beam gets stopped and they can't see you anymore. So what we've essentially done is we have blinded this guy, but as a result, he's just going to sit here and be a nice little guy and run our shop for us. A couple of little nuances with this is, as you might notice, he's really enjoying looking this way. It seems to me that minecart mobs have some preferred direction to look. That depends on the orientation of the minecart. They seem to like one of the longer sides of the minecart specifically, and I don't know which. So, best of luck in making sure they're facing the right way. But also, if we remove the spike that we put in, they can see us again. And we can use any transparent block as long as it blocks their line of sight. So something like a glass block would also work as like a little space helmet, for example. Ow. So with this in place, I also need to explain why we are using a minecart. So the reason why is if we use this attitude adjustinator, that skeleton can still see us. The reason why is because they're not exactly in the middle of the block, so their center has shifted, and then it's no longer being blocked by the glass pane. If we move over here, where it would be, they can't see us. This guy can, but this guy can't. So we need to make sure they stay centered on the block that they're in. You can do that with something like a composter, I believe, though less effectively. I don't think this is 100%. Nope, it is not. But for some mobs, maybe that would work. Or more specifically, if you use a copper rod, I believe that works because they have a larger hitbox. Or we can just use a minecart. So that's why I'm using minecarts. And it doesn't work on just skeletons because I have a whole array of other mobs here. And all of these have had their attitude problems solved. Now, I'm going to need to quickly give myself a golden apple, it seems, because I forgot to make sure I actually have health for this. But if we go ahead and unadjust this guy's attitude, you can see he's not very happy with me and wants to hit me with an axe. But we can fix that for you, Johnny. And there you go. With a successful mobotomy, he no longer cares. We can do it with blazes. Ow. But now he doesn't care. We can do it with creepers. This is a fun one, because if you flick the switch repeatedly... he's not very happy about it, but that's a-okay. We can do it with zombies. We can do it with witches. For the witch specifically, I have put them on 7 or 6 layers of snow. I don't remember which one exactly, because they have a rather large hitbox inside of a minecart. And that makes them sit lower, so we can put the glass pane in. That's not essential, though, because you could always push the glass pane into them from the side, and then push it down, if you want to make sure it works. For the Creaking, or Mr. Creaking Joe over here, you don't actually need to put him in a minecart, because his hitbox is basically exactly 1 block. So no matter what you do, the glass pane will be effective. So if we currently go right ahead and just do this, turn our back to him, he doesn't mind. If we undo our attitude adjustment, now he's no longer as happy. We have our Enderman over here. A nice side effect of this is that it also cures his shyness. So if you look at him now, he's no longer going to scream at you until you flip the lever, in which case he's a lot less happy. And it also works for ghasts. So you might notice this is Ghast Jobs. He has not managed to fire a single fireball at me, even though he's just out in the open. And that is because we are adjusting his attitude. So we have a bunch of sticky pistons over here. And if we look inside, you can see, kind of, that it's just 4 glass blocks. We push them down, and they can't see us. But push them up, and they do not like us very much anymore. So, hopefully that information will have been helpful to you. You might notice this Enderman is also on some soul sand for the same reason as the witch over here. This does not work on any mobs that can see you regardless of line of sight. So, like the Warden, I don't think you can capture with this. But any other mobs that fit inside of a minecart, or you can restrict within their 1x1 block space, go right ahead, give them a mobotomy, and they will not be so hostile anymore. So have a nice day.